for me. Maybe a first for you, it's a first for me. Before I was a judge in the federal court, I was a judge on the state court for 14 years. And before I was a judge on the state court, I was a public defender for 17 years, representing anybody that came through the door with my heart. My motto was they had to get through me to get to them. And I stood my ground, and I saw justice happen for my entire career as a lawyer. I then became a judge and had to dispense justice, which was the same goal, just a little different. It's been an incredible career that I have had, just incredible. And the fact that I get to come home, I was born in Worcester. I started my career, I had my entire legal career in the city of Worcester. And as a judge, I've been all over the state. And to come home has been the joy of my life. But to be a lawyer was really the goal of my life. I wanted to help people. I was not a regular student. I didn't leave high school and go to college. I left high school and got a job, and then another job, and then another job. And I got jobs that I excelled until I couldn't go any further because I didn't have an education, and I worked for 7 years in many different industries, finding myself hitting that ceiling and having the obstacles that kept me from going to college remain in place. And one day, in my 25th year, I said, enough. I want to be a lawyer. There's something inside of me that says, I need to do this. And I did. And in order to do that, I had to go to a place where I couldn't fail, right? I didn't know, could I do college? So I went to Portland, Maine, and I went to a college very much like Commencement. It catered to people who their industry closed and they needed a second career. People who were working parents, people who had left prison and were trying to rebuild their lives, people who couldn't afford a university education. And this college opened its doors. No one was denied. They didn't ask me for my SAT scores. And I had no idea on that first day if I would be able to do it, even though I wanted to do it. Well, it kind of worked out. It worked out okay for me. But the job of being a returning student did not stop the job of being a poor returning student. It didn't stop the job of driving a car that had 150,000 miles on it, and tape over the bumper. It didn't stop the requirement that I worked 2 or 3 part-time jobs always in order to pay my tuition, pay my rent, and to live. But it mostly didn't stop me. I knew what I wanted. It took me a long time to get there. But when I got there, I wasn't leaving. Not until I went all the way and became a lawyer and did what I knew in my heart I was put on this earth to do. So through all of my jobs, I did everything. I think if you all yelled out a job that you do, that you hate, that you love, drive-through coffee, I worked on a dump truck, I did sales, telephone sales, and I even had a job working for an agency that was house cleaning. So I got these jobs, and I did it for a couple of weeks, and I went to a house. And this house was a nice house, not a great house, but a nice house, and the woman was there, and I came in, and it's strange. She showed me what she wanted cleaned, and then she kept following me around, like following me. And I'd go into the bathroom and clean, I'd turn around and she'd be looking in the door, and I thought, she thinks I'm gonna steal something in this house that I'm trying to clean. And I finished the job, And I walked out and I drove to because we didn't have cell phones then, it's so long ago. Luckily we had cars. And I called my boss and I quit. I wanted to turn and say to that woman, you know that conversation you have when you get in your car? You know, oh, I should have said. I wanted to say to her, lady, I'm in law school, for God's sakes. I'm not gonna steal your sad ass, whatever it is. And by the way, keep your own house clean, right? Keep your house clean. She was judging me for working 3 jobs to put myself through college and law school so that I could go into community and public service to represent people who couldn't afford to have an attorney. She was judging me. She didn't know me. She didn't know that I took care of one of my sister's children for 3 years while I was a full-time lawyer. She didn't know that I experienced poverty as a child through no fault of my own. She didn't know my struggle, what I had to do to get here every day, go on Zoom, show up, go to your job exhausted, come in here and sit at Commencement College, learn, go back to a job, go to your families, take care of them, work for your city, donate your time. She didn't know any of that, but she judged me. I know who you are. You are me. I have been there. I never really talked about that incident, but when I would get low, like it was really hard, I was commuting to Boston for law school, I would remember that lady, and that would propel me through another semester, through another final, through another hard day. I love my life. I love my life because I've lived my own truth. I have lived my honest self. I have fallen. I have failed. I have not been a good friend or a good daughter on every occasion, not a good citizen, but then I have also done many, many, many things to try and repair my own path to society. I've donated a lot of time. I love my community. I represented every person as if they were a family member. No matter how sad their life, no matter how serious their charges, no matter how many people reviled them. And as a judge, I have tried to see every person who walked before me from where they stand, accept the client and the defendant for who they are, and treat them with justice. I love my life. When the president invited me to give this speech, I was overwhelmed. You're my people. You are my people. And I want to say to you, let every opportunity be something to consider. Take nothing off the table. Forget about the naysayers. Try different things. Go back to school or don't. If you don't like your job, get another one. If you don't like your person you're with, get another one. I've done that too. It really worked out. Thank you for letting me have the honor of sharing this part of your day. I see you. I do. I am you. And I know there are people in this room that are going to change people's lives, really important change in people's lives, whether or not it is taking time off from school or work to be with an elderly person who's in your family that doesn't want to go into a nursing home, or if it is because you took a lesser paying job because the hours would make you able to drop your child off at school. Whatever it is, the change that you make on an individual or a large basis has a collective growth. One good deed, one good act makes another one possible. Thank you for committing a good deed and a good act and listening to me this day. Thank you so much. Go and change the world. Be whoever you want to be, and never, ever, ever let anybody's judgment of you be your judgment of yourself. Thank you.